Welcome to another episode of Just Vibing. I'm here with our special guest, Rutgers women's lacrosse player, Erin Devine. First time having a Rutgers athlete on my podcast, so pretty cool. Power of LinkedIn and recruiting or networking, I guess, in a way. But yeah, no. I'm really glad to have you on. Just wanted to chat about Rutgers sports, also kind of the more personal series because my main series called Sports Vibe just covers like all the recent like just whatever's going on in professional sports, sometimes collegiate sports too. We talk Rutgers on there as well. I mean, I've been part of like different experiences related to Rutgers sports, whether from marching band, Rutgers radio, where we covered games. I actually did get to call a lacrosse game before I left, women's lacrosse game I believe too on the way out. So that was definitely a fun one for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I'm glad to have you on. First of all, if you could just like, I guess, just give me and the viewers just like an introduction about yourself, like what position you play, like stuff like that, just the basics, and then I guess we can get the ball rolling from there.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Hmm.
My name's Erin Devine. I'm a junior on the women's lacrosse team. I'm about to be a senior next year. I'm from Clarksville, Maryland. So a lot of people at Rutgers are from Jersey. So I'm out of
Yeah.
state, which is fun
Hmm.
to experience something a little bit different. I came in as a midfielder. And then they needed a defender. So when I was a sophomore, I switched into defense and I ended up starting as a sophomore, which was really exciting. But unfortunately, I ended up tearing my ACL 4 games into the season, which sucked. But I had a very quick recovery, which was nice. And I had a strong comeback season this year, which was really exciting. I grew up as a three-sport athlete. I played soccer, basketball, and lacrosse in high school. I won 2 state championships and several regional and county championships. Hopefully, a Big Ten one coming soon next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it here, and I'm super excited to be on this podcast.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's like a good introduction. It's a good way to start. So I guess first of all, like what was it like? I guess being a three-sport athlete in high school, and like kind of what made you like go into want to do lacrosse like here at college?
I think I was just so used to playing a lot of sports growing up. My parents kept me very busy. I'm one of 6 kids, and all of us played several sports. And I never really had a season off. So I was just kind of used to the nature of always playing a sport every season. It was definitely hectic, but I think it made me the athlete who I am today. I think getting the versatile of different sports made me the lacrosse player who I am. And I definitely see my soccer skills and basketball skills being implemented into lacrosse. And it just also I think you go through different I guess trials and tribulations with different teams. So I think it made me a stronger leader because I had different experiences on different sports teams. And I think just building a good community in each team and a good culture. I got to experience a lot of different cultures, and I knew what I want to bring in as a senior next year for Rutgers lacrosse. So I think being a three-sport athlete definitely was tiring and exhausting, but super fun. And I met so many good teammates coming along the way who are now forever friends. So I definitely wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely sounds great. Yeah, like you said, like kind of no off season, but you did meet like a lot of like people, I'm sure, that stick with you
Mhm.
and everything. But yeah. So I mean, obviously, you mentioned about you tore your ACL. I mean, I know as a sports fan, like once that happens, you're usually out for the season. But what was it like, kind of coming back from that, and like obviously this year, making the rotation, playing, like you moved to defense and everything, and you've been playing in a lot of the games this year. So what's it kind of been like to, I guess, make that comeback on the field?
Um, at first, I think it was very heartbreaking. Initially, tearing my ACL because I worked really hard as a sophomore to get that starting spot. So it was definitely very hard mentally, I think, initially when I first got injured. But I used it as a motivator to get back on that field because I knew what it felt like to start and help out my team and make an impact out on the field. And I knew that I just had to grind every day to get where I wanted to be. And I would go to PT 5 times a week. no days off. It was a lot mentally. I will not lie, lots of tears that came along the way. But my team had, I think, like 6 ACLs last year, I want to say. So I had a really good group of girls. We called ourselves the Limpy Legends, and they really helped me get through it. I wouldn't have been able to get back so fast on the field without them. I was fortunate to get cleared at like 6 months post-op, which is pretty quick for most ACLs. It's usually 9 to 12 months. Because I was a little bit nervous about not being able to play for the season, since that I tore it during the season last year. So it would have been like right around the mark of like be able to play. So I was able to train in the fall, which was really good. And I think that helped me out this season, being able to just have a quick recovery. And I just had a really strong mindset that I wanted to be back on that field. And I had a lot of confidence in myself, and my coaches definitely had a lot of confidence in me too. So I think that definitely like played a role into my strong recovery. But I mean, it definitely was a bumpy road. There's highs and lows that came with it. In the beginning of the season and preseason, I like sprained my knee a little bit and hyperextended it. So in the beginning of this season, I wasn't playing as much. So I think that was really hard mentally, because I wanted to be at 100% and I wasn't. And then once we got into like Big Tens and our really hard games this year, I ended up getting like a lot of my minutes back. And I started in the Northwestern game. They're like one of the top teams in the country. And I face guarded Madison Taylor, who's the best player in the country. So I definitely like made my comeback towards the end of the season, which was really exciting. And I'm excited for the future, because now I'm definitely 100% and healthy. So it's been nice.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like you made the most out of it and made a good comeback and everything this season. But yeah, let's talk about like I guess this season. I mean, I guess in my time at the radio and stuff, I kind of did follow it a little bit more. I still do to an extent, like I guess both men's and women's. But obviously a little bit of a slightly down year for Rutgers. I said like overall record 8-10, 2-6, and then obviously the Big Ten lost to Maryland, but kind of some ups and downs. I guess there's definitely some wins in there, some losses, but kind of what's this season like kind of been like for you and like for the team, and kind of like battling through the tough schedule, like you mentioned, Northwestern, Johns Hopkins. Like there's a lot of good teams in this conference, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we play in the top conference in the country, so we know that we're going to have hard competition. I don't think the season went how we wanted to go. And as a team, obviously, we were very disappointed, because if we won like 1 or 2, 3 more games, we could have like been in the NCAA tournament. And that was like our ultimate goal. We just like had a meeting with our coaches, and like next year, like our goal is like to have that winning record, to get into the NCAA tournament, try to win a Big Ten tournament championship. So I think some of those losses that we had this year definitely like taught us a lot of lessons, and we have to take like some of those losses as like learning points, and like take our strengths out of it, but also learn at our weaknesses, and like kind of focus on like how we can better ourselves all around as a team and individually. We did have some good wins. We had like upset against Stony Brook and Ohio State, which were really exciting. Just like the stadium was crowded, and it was just like an exhilarating feeling. So like those highs were like so exciting. And we did lose to Maryland the regular season by 1, but we were winning the entire game. So like that was like frustrating, but we know that we're just there like with these teams, and like we can compete with them. And I think it gives us confidence going into next year, knowing that like we can win those games and they're winnable, and like anyone is beatable. And we just want to be that winning team at the end of the day. So I think like just like on this off season, we're going to be training really hard, focusing on our strengths and making those strengths even stronger. But then like also just looking at where weaknesses are too. But it definitely does suck like not being in the tournament right now, because that's what any tournament team wants to be at. But I think next year is going to be a huge year for us, and we have a strong freshman coming in, and almost every single returning player has had field experience. So that gives us a lot of confidence, knowing that we have strong players coming back, and all of us have confidence on the field. So hopefully next year it will be a really good, successful year for us.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely hope so. I mean, yeah, obviously, yeah, like Maryland's a pretty good team. Like a lot of these other teams are pretty good, but obviously it does suck if you don't make the tournament. I mean, obviously, I know like Rutgers men's basketball, like they had very high expectations as well, and like they didn't make it, and it kind of came a little bit as a shock, but just a little bit frustration, obviously for the fans, but probably so much like that much more for the players who are on the court and on the field, and yeah, I mean. Yeah, same thing with like football, but football did actually, I think they're on the right trajectory with the bowl and everything. But I guess back to I guess you and your story and everything. I was seeing like for you and like a lot of your teammates, like you guys like also do like private like lacrosse coaching or something like that. So like that seems like
Yeah.
yeah, quite an interesting thing. I mean, being like a student athlete, so already like kind of helping like the next generation like learn and grow and develop those like kind of same skill sets. And then obviously you mentioned it also like, brings out a lot of other skill, like entrepreneurship, time management, like you run the whole business. So what's like that whole like kind of experience been like for you?
Yeah, I think that's honestly one of my favorite things that did come out of being a high level athlete was being able to train the next generation, inspire them. I have like a little, I guess, like company or business called Divine Lacrosse Academy, and I have over 60 individual players that I coach over the summer and my off season. And now I'm going to be, and that's in home in Maryland, but now I'm going to be working for my internship here in Jersey this summer. So I've already gotten some Jersey clients. It's super exciting. Like I build such a good relationship with all these like younger girls. They come to my games. It's so sweet. I'm a role model for them. So it really does also like make me feel like I'm playing for something bigger than myself. And even when I say have a bad game or a bad play, I'm like these little girls are like looking up to me and like thinking I'm doing amazing. So like it really does like put a bigger perspective on it all. I really did like find a passion in coaching though. I love it so much. I think just like having an impact on these like girls' lives and like building this confidence within them, like it really does make a difference. And the parents like tell me all the time, like they've never had like a coach be able to like bring this like confidence out in their daughters, and like it's shown on and off the field. And it really does like make me so happy because it's making me feel like I'm doing something more than just for myself when I'm playing a sport. So it's very like inspiring.
Yeah, no, that sounds really cool, honestly, that you guys do that, and definitely does make like a big difference and everything. So you said you're gonna, I guess, be taking that like to New Jersey too, like when you do your internship, basically.
Yeah, I've already had a client actually yesterday and then one today too. So I've already found some girls
Right.
that I'm going to be
Yeah,
training this summer. So it's
that
super
is.
exciting that I can continue it throughout this year as well. And maybe in the future, I'll look into like college coaching or some sort of coaching in the future because I really do love it. It's definitely a passion of mine. I think like once I'm done playing lacrosse, I'll still want to be involved in the sport in some way or another.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds like a good idea. Like, do you see yourself like potentially like trying to go like pro in lacrosse in any form, or like I don't know.
I mean, if the doors open that way, possibly, but I think I'm more going to be focused on like my career just because the professional route of lacrosse isn't too big. So I
Hmm.
definitely want to probably get started on my lacrosse or no, my career, professional career. I'm looking into like medical device sales or something like that realm, but maybe like sports marketing. I'm actually going to the ESPN Women's Conference tomorrow in New York City. So there's a lot of doors that open my way being a student athlete,
Yeah.
being able to just like get opportunities, I guess, in like what I want to do in my future. We actually have a networking night at Rutgers for student athletes and alumni, and I secured a pharmaceutical sales internship from that networking night. So Rutgers does really set us up for success. We have something called Scarlet Knights for Life, and they help us secure like internships, jobs. They help us make our resumes. So it really like they help us out a lot with like our future, which is really nice.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. They definitely do have a good support system, especially I guess for athletes, but also just for students in general. But yeah, definitely did want to talk about a lot of the the academic stuff as well. But I guess just another question I had, like obviously being from Maryland, like you mentioned in the beginning, like a lot of a lot of people from Rutgers are in New Jersey. Probably most of your teammates are probably from New Jersey as well. But so what's it kind of like being from Maryland, like transferring, I mean, not transferring, but like coming to New Jersey, like fitting, I mean, I'm sure it's not that different. Like it's a few hours away. Like I've been there, but like, what's it like kind of, being a part of like a different community, and like, how do you feel like, you've kind of fit in over the time?
I think it definitely at first it was kind of like a shock, just like leaving my home area and all my hometown friends. But my team is like, we call each other selves like a family, and they truly are like my sisters. We're with each other 24/7. And everyone just opens each other up with open arms. We're freshmen, and the older girls really do like help guide us and pave the way for us to feel comfortable and just feel at home here, even if it's far away. At times it can be like hard because there's girls who live like 15 minutes away and they can just go home whenever they want,
Yeah.
or like can get dinner with their parents and stuff like that. And there's definitely times where like I miss my siblings or my dog or my parents. So I think that definitely has like been like lonely, I guess, at times when I've been like going through hard times like my ACL and stuff, where I just like want to be with my family. But I think it also helped me grow a lot of independence, and I'm able to like do things on my own and know that like I'll be okay no matter where I end up. And it's only 3 hours away from home, so if I want to go home for the weekend and stuff like that, I think that's really nice because it's a good location. I think Jersey is just like close to New York City, close to Philly, not too far from Maryland. So I really do like that I was able to like spread my wings a little bit, but also still have like the chance of going home if I want to.
Yeah, it's kind of like, in a way, it's like kind of like a sweet spot. It's like not too far, but also like far enough where you get like a different like perspective on things, and you get I kind of have like that college lifestyle and everything too. But did you like, I guess, being from Maryland, did you like, I guess, root for their teams like in college, or like even maybe their lacrosse team, or like teams around that area? Like I don't know, like the Ravens or the Washington. Like I know they both had pretty good seasons like
Yeah.
last season actually.
My family actually is all from like outside Philly, so I grew up being like a huge Eagles fan, Phillies fan. My dad went to Villanova, so we're huge Villanova basketball fans.
Gotcha.
So it's been kind of funny, like when I've been growing up with like all Orioles and like Ravens fans for sure. But
Yeah.
I think the Eagles have had such a good season recently, so it's been exciting for my family because we're like, go Birds.
These are lucky. I'm a big Giants fan, so I can
You guys
understand
just
like
did
the
have
Eagles.
some good.
One heck of a draft, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you guys did have
They
a good
just
draft.
didn't. That was actually my last episode, was covering our draft with Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart. I feel like we made all the right moves, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, Philly's fresh off Super Bowl, but no, that is interesting. So I mean, now it's probably like a mix of like at Rutgers, so you probably have like a mix of Philly fans, a mix of like New York, like either Giants, Jets, like the whole 9 yards. So it's just like,
Yeah,
it's always a good time because a lot of my friends from band and radio like are also like Eagles fans, and there's also a lot of Giants fans, Jets fans, like people from all over. So it's always fun bantering and just having a good time. Like sometimes it goes a little too far, but like most of the time it's always good. It's fun to have those kinds of conversations. But yeah, I mean, do you like, I guess, do you like follow like, I guess, like basketball and hockey? Like I know like the playoffs are like going on right now and stuff like that.
I follow like men's basketball for like college. I'm not a huge like NBA
Okay, I
watcher
gotcha.
just because I think like my dad just grew up with us like being such a huge Villanova basketball
Mm,
fan.
makes sense. Yeah, we
They
just
did
got
just get the new basketball
yeah,
coach, I think, from
Kevin
Maryland.
Willard from Maryland. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really excited about
That's
that.
interesting,
We're
yeah.
hoping they come back to their national championship days. Because I'd always grow up going to the Big East tournament when I was
Ooh,
little.
in New York, right? At the
Yeah,
Garden.
so even though I'm a huge Rutgers fan, I think at heart I'll always be like a little Villanova
Yeah, no,
basketball.
I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
But
Growing up, I guess like before Rutgers, like I don't know why I just picked Duke basketball, and like I still like them like a lot. And something
yeah,
about Ohio State football, I don't know why, but they won the national championship.
I
But
did see that.
uh,
sorry, I did see that Duke basketball, though, I think was one of the only schools that didn't have any of their players going to the portal, because like this year was such a huge like year for so many people to go to the portal for men's
That's true.
basketball.
Yeah, a lot of people did go to the portal. Yeah, I think some people are going, like Cooper Flag, obviously going to the draft. And then I think Concanipple is going to the draft. So they had a disappointing tournament loss, but you know, it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, like I think some are going to the draft. I don't think anyone's going to the portal. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just like the little things. Like I think a long time ago when I was little, I saw like this video of like them doing like a pep rally with the Cameron Crazies, and I knew like probably nothing about college basketball sports.
Yeah.
I think I just caught on to that, and then I was like, oh, this team like is really good. They always win. They send players to the NBA. Like they did this rally thing to like that every time we touch song. And I thought it was just like the coolest thing. And I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna root for them. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's what it is. But yeah, I mean, Rutgers basketball's been up and down. It's been a little frustrating, but hopefully things do get better. I think they made some good portal ads. But yeah. Anyway, I did also want to I guess touch back on like going back to you and your career and everything. I saw like on the Rutgers women's your Rutgers women's lacrosse page, like last season you're like a Big Ten distinguished scholar and like in the academic all Big Ten. So obviously that means like you take your academics seriously, and Rutgers is known for kind of having a strong blend of, especially in the Big Ten, like strong academics and athletics. So like what does that I guess mean to you to kind of be able to balance both of them and have all the these academic accolades as well, in addition to like being a full-time student athlete?
Yeah, I think just growing up in my family, my parents always held me to like very high standards of having like try to have straight A's. If we have some B's, they're like a little mad, but definitely just like trying to keep a good GPA, and just knowing that like academics are so important, because like it really does like drive our future, and sports obviously are like so important to me, but academically that's where I'm going to end up with the rest of my life, is with my degree. And I'm just excited that I went to a school that does take academics so seriously. The Rutgers athletics really do take care of us like student athletes, and set us up for success in so many ways. We have tutors for like any classes that we need help in, which I think is like huge for me, especially freshman year, adjusting from like high school academics to college academics. Especially like my last 2 or 3 years in high school were mainly like online and hybrid due to COVID. So I think that adjustment of like going back to in person and just like the rigorous like testing and stuff like that, it was a huge adjustment. But having these tutors, and our academic advisor Gila is always there to help us out, and she makes a schedule for us, and we're able to like pick professors that we know are like rated well and like will help out student athletes, especially like when we have to travel a lot. So I think that's definitely helped me out like in so many ways. Also like another huge thing was just like being able to do some online classes, because I've been traveling so much in the spring, and it's hard when you have to miss so many like classes and lectures. So I think like the flexibility of doing like hybrid classes like really did help me succeed in so many ways, because I was able to do my work on the road and like have the lectures online. And then another huge thing is just like having a lot of my classes with my teammates, because we'll help each other study. We keep each other on track. So or like we can study together and like quiz each other, and like we have a lot of group projects together, and like we all understand each other's schedules. So I think that's also like huge academically, just having teammates who you can do like group projects with.
No, that is cool. I mean, like, I guess you probably already like kind of touched on this, but like, I guess what's it like kind of just being like, on the team traveling? Like, I guess obviously you form like a really good connection, like with these girls. Like, it kind of reminds me, I guess, of my time in, I guess both, I'd say radio and band, but I'd say more in the marching band, because like we had practices a lot, like kind of similar thing, like football game days was, we practice from like, and then we'd have the game, so we'd be there all day. So it's just like you kind of summer practices, like you kind of form a bond with these people, and like kind of what's like the travel, I guess, like, because I know in radio and stuff like that, people did travel, but it was like, for like one game, and we had like a deep rotation and stuff, so not everyone would always go for everything. But I mean, like, what's it kind of like to be on that like schedule, kind of manage your time, also like have work, like obviously it helps if you have like flexible scheduling and things like that. But what's it kind of like to like kind of put all of that together and like, you know, be on that kind of schedule basically?
I think, well, in the fall it's not too bad because we're in our off season. The spring is just primarily when we're traveling a lot, especially in the Big Ten. We have teams now on the West Coast, so like this past spring we went to Oregon, and next year we're going to be going to California. So those are like long travel weeks, and there's times where we'll be going, like my sophomore year went to like Nashville, and then like another school like within like 1 week we'll be away for like 7 days at a time. I think it is definitely like so cool that I'm able to like experience like traveling to so many different schools and experiencing like that and seeing different parts of the country I've never seen before. But it does get hectic when we have like exams and we have to do them on the bus, or like huge essays that are due when we have like the same day of a game. I think just like being very like communicating with our professors really has helped us, because a lot of them will like give us extensions and stuff like that, which is like super helpful. But I think also just like when our academic advisor like travels with us, she's like, all right, girls, like this is like our blocked off time in the hotel that you guys have to like do your homework in, and like she definitely keeps us on check. But it definitely can be stressful at times when like you don't have Wi-Fi for 6 hours and you have a quiz due at like midnight and you didn't get off the plane until like 9 p.m. So I think like days like those, it can be definitely stressful. But I think just being a student athlete, we like had to learn pretty quickly how to like manage our time and like our schoolwork and our practice lift meetings. So I think just having like good time management skills really does like help go a long way. But I am definitely a procrastinator, will not lie, so that doesn't help me out. But I just like to do my work under pressure, I guess I'd like to say. But yeah, I think like just traveling, it can get hectic, but we make the most out of it, and we get to like explore different like cities and stuff like that. So it definitely is cool being able to like experience that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the travel, like, it must be fun. And getting to see different parts of the country. Like, yeah, like you said, I'm sure it's a little hectic. Like, I mean, being part of like extracurriculars on college, like radio, band, like especially probably more so band, but like both of them, like I think I even did a year of overlap. So like I know that how that could be, and it's probably like that much more for like student athletes. So you know, you guys have practice meetings, like you know, lifting sessions, like all sorts of things, and then full class schedule. But I think it is definitely like worth it because I feel like if you just did classes, like you just wouldn't really have the same like college experience. And like if whether it's athletes or like you know being a student athlete or being in clubs or something related to your major, maybe like I mean, I think it just Rutgers just you know in like in particular, but like has a lot to offer, and I feel like it's good to kind of like you know supplement that college experience like with something like you know something or the other if you get the chance. So that's definitely something I recommend it because it definitely like shaped my college experience in good and bad ways, but like mostly for the good. But yeah, so in terms of like your I guess in terms of your major, like I saw your communications major, but like with a focus on PR. So I guess like how did I guess and then I saw you have a minor, a double minor in business administration, human resources. So kind of like how did those all go together, and kind of like what's your I guess your plan like you know to kind of use all of that like after school I guess.
Yeah. I think I've like been told by so many people that I'd just be really good in sales. I'm very much of like a people person. I'm very outgoing. So I think public relations did like really stick out to me when I was like choosing my specialization, because I just think like you can do so many different kinds of things with PR, so many different like brands you can work with. I could like go into beauty, fashion, sports, whatever.
Yeah.
Like doors open for me. But I do like the idea of just having like a broad range of like career options, and I'm not just like stuck on like one thing. And I think like the business administration and like HR minors are definitely going to help me out if I want to go into sales or marketing. Just like having those classes that teach me a lot about different things that go into those like professions. I don't know exactly where I will end up, but I think just like growing up with like my parents being in the medical field, all my siblings are going to be doctors as well. So I think like the medical sales definitely does like stick out to me. And I think just like the communications major and just like learning about just like how to communicate well, how to like sell things to people, how to be persuasive, like all those classes have helped me out so much when I'm going to be going into like the sales world, because it is a pretty like rigorous job, because there's a lot of rejection in it, but they do look for a lot of student athletes, those careers, just because we're used to having to work with like teammates and being able to get no's if people don't want our products.
Yeah.
They can be long hours sometimes. So I think just they look for hard workers. So I'm excited to like be able to use like my I guess like major and like minors to my advantage. And I've been learning so many like valuable like skills off of these classes. So I'm excited to see where my future goes.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds interesting. Like I'm a HR major too, and like I have a business administration minor as well. So, yeah, I find that interesting, and especially with the communications, like in PR, like I think definitely for sales, I think that's those two definitely go with that. Like, and like you said, like in PR, like sports teams, they all have like PR departments, like
Mhm.
I'm sure, like you said, beauty and fashion, like all these companies, they have like their own PR people. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's cool about like the medical like sales thing. I guess it makes sense if your parents and your siblings are going into that and like it appeals to you. Because I had like an internship over like last summer where I did, it was like a sales company. So in a way it was like more like doing like donations and stuff like that. But like so I kind of know like what that's like. I guess like yeah, you deal with a lot of like rejections and stuff like that. So yeah, you have to really be able to convince people to like I guess buy your product or whatever it is, and that's
Mhm.
obviously not the easiest thing, and you can get demoralized if you get like rejected a lot.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, another thing like I saw like on your profile, you have like this personal branding kit, and I was like reading through it. Sounds pretty interesting. So like, what made you, I guess, and it like what made you want to do that and like kind of put that out there, because I feel like it sums up everything like pretty well about like your background, and I guess it describes like your like how you play the game and stuff like that, where your strengths and weaknesses are. So I guess like what do you kind of like see like with that, and like what kind of made you like put that together?
So I actually met the guy who runs it at Night of Networking, the networking thing we have for Rutgers athletes, and me and him connected and really got along that day. And he reaches out to like only a specific amount of people in the athletics to do their personal branding kit, and we have to do a personalized test that like figures out all our strengths and weaknesses in the professional and like sports world. And it was really cool. I wanted to do it because I just thought it was like good way to market myself for future employers, and it's like kind of more of like an in-depth resume in a way. And the studies just like were really interesting to me, and it was really cool to like show my parents, because it made them really proud, because it like really did show like how much of an impact like they had on me too. But it was such a cool experience getting able to like collab with them and like reading like that in-depth like I guess just like definition of like who I am as a person. But yeah, it was actually like really cool experience, and I learned a lot about myself through it as well, as a person and like a player, and also just like as a future employee too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that's really cool that you did that. I'm actually taking this class like it's my last semester. I'm set to graduate, but like it's
Mhm.
about like finding your purpose, or like kind of like it's all about learning about yourself, and I feel like it's such a good class. Like more people should probably like want to take it, and I kind of wish they pushed it out to SAS core. But so
Yeah.
we're talking about like how we can grow that. But I was think part of like the last assignments like to make a LinkedIn or like just any kind of post. It could be a blog or whatever, just like kind of similar to what you did, like about yourself, and like kind of put yourself out there and to showcase. And I feel like I'm gonna talk about that because I feel like it's important I could spread that message of you should really take that time to focus on yourself, and that could help you in your path to career success and everything. And yeah, I mean I guess in a way it's kind of similar to like what you did with the personal branding kit. But I guess yeah, that's pretty much like all like I had to or all I wanted to talk about. Is there anything you wanted to like ask me before like we sign off, I guess?
Well, what's your master's that you're going into?
Oh,
That sounds interesting.
yeah. Well, I'm an HR like major,
Okay.
a business administration minor. I'm gonna probably take a gap year.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go back into the HR like master's program. I'm trying to figure out what to do like kind of after graduation. Like I want to get a job in HR, like ideally.
Nice.
Trying to lock something down, but I think my main passion is like sports. Like I've been, like I said, I was involved in radio and band, and like I've taken up writing. I kind of realized I'm probably better at that than play by play. Like I think a long time for a while I wanted to do that. I was like my end all be all to be on TV and stuff, but
Yeah.
didn't really work out so well when I tried it. Like it's very competitive, but writing kind of is like kind of found an approach to that, and also that's why I started this, like through all of that, that's why I started this podcast talking about sports, and then the Just Vibing series is kind of like, I don't know, it's like more like my personal series, like kind of like the conversations like we have, or
Yeah.
and I wanted to like just get different perspectives, learn a little bit about different things, and like kind of put that out there. So it's like kind of like my own brand, and I actually I just got like accepted to like On the Banks for I don't know if you know them, they like cover.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
so
so like
fun.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's like, I guess it's in a way that's kind of like it's probably the biggest opportunity I've had. So obviously they cover like pretty much all sports. Like there's a guy Andrew Rice who like he kind of runs the site and everything, but
Yeah.
he wanted me to like broaden my horizons. So I suppose I could probably end up writing about lacrosse again, and in a way it's like it's kind of like my way to connect back, because I feel like at post radio I kind of been away a little bit from some Rutgers sports and maybe not others, but I'm happy to kind of have that opportunity, and I think we're actually planning on starting our own podcast for On the Bank. So like it'll
Oh,
be
that'll be
cool to,
so exciting.
yeah,
Well,
it'll be
next
really
time
cool to
I'll
be
come
in.
on, I'll
Wait,
join.
what? Yeah, maybe we're actually thinking of
Yeah.
like we want to try to get players from different like teams on. So I mean, we could
Yeah.
definitely reach out about that. Yeah, no, it should be really cool, because like I guess being a Rutgers fan like week to week, like especially I think my main thing is like a crazy college football fan. Like I just love the game, like even more like I love Rutgers. They're like, I guess my first love was like being in the band, like not really knowing too much about college football like versus the NFL. Like I was a big obviously Giants fan, but like
Yeah.
seeing that and growing into Rutgers sports over the years, being just seeing like I'm gonna actually do an episode with someone on marketing in a couple of days, like Kaylee,
That'll
like
be exciting.
yeah, so that should be like another good like Just Vibing episode. But yeah, just seeing like being part of the game day experience, being in the band, like seeing like the dance team, the cheer team, like the student section, like everyone's so passionate, all the fans tailgating and whatnot. I don't know, that really got me into it. But college football I really loved, so I listened to a lot of podcasts, like like the Night Report, like some other ones that they do week to week.
Yeah.
So getting to be part of something like that, like post graduation, where it's kind of like almost like an insider, kind of like an outsider insider role in a way. But I feel like it'd be pretty cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to, I guess, continuing to be involved with not
For
only
sure.
rugby football but athletics like as a whole, and we'll see where that goes, but definitely looking
That's
forward to it.
exciting. Well, good luck with your future. I think like
Awesome.
whenever you just follow your passions, like it'll
Yeah,
work
that's
out.
what
But
I that's what I
sounds like
believe
you're doing
too.
it. Yeah. Good luck though. That's so exciting.
Yeah, so ideally, yeah, hopefully, yeah, HR, like I think is I want to have like as a foundation, but I definitely want to build on this on the sports stuff. But yeah, but like I said, thanks for taking the time. I feel like we had a pretty good conversation about everything related to Rutgers women's lacrosse, and also just your personal journey, your academic journey, even just some like some fun sports talk, like I always like to do with
Yeah.
my Just Vibing guests. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you do want to come on to the On the Banks thing, we could definitely talk about that. But in the meantime, this has been another episode of Just Vibing, episode 10. Once again, thank you, Erin, for coming on, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.